Welcome back to another episode of Room 109. It's so great to see y'all. So great to have y'all back. Before we get into this episode about growing apart and navigating friendships, let us do something. Let's subscribe. Let's share. Let's tell a friend to tell a friend she's back. And let's get right into today's episode. So, I really wanted to talk about growing apart and navigating adult friendships because that has been a big theme with me. Growing apart has been very interesting because I no longer like the same things I used to like, and I no longer have the tolerance for certain excuses anymore. I realize in my adult friendships and what I need, it's, first of all, being an adult and navigating like friends and like trying to make friends, it's something within itself. But growing apart from people that you still love these people, but you guys no longer like have a common interest or values, and just understanding your friends in the categories and the seasons that your friends are in. It's something that's been sitting on my brain because I think, especially for me being like living out of state and not living in Boston and living in Maryland, and then trying to maintain like my friendships, I know I'm busy and I know that I can get very carried away with what's going on in life. And I know sometimes I cannot always show up to Boston and be present for my friends as much as I would like to, but I can't. With plane tickets being high, with, just the economy and just how life be life in. Like, sometimes I'm just not able to physically be there. And some of my friends don't think that's enough for them. And I don't know, it hurts, when you are trying your best and you're trying to be your best, but it's hard when your best is not enough for some of these friendships. And then, you tend to grow apart. It's not like there's any love lost, but it's hard to please everyone because trying to please everyone is going to drive you crazy. And I think understanding why friendships are changing is so important because so much life transitions happen. So much life events and so much things that are happening to help you as an individual grow. And I always say, I give my friends grace and I understand them and I meet them where they're at. But there comes a time where, sometimes, not everyone's going to think like Mariama. Not everyone's going to see my point of view. Not everyone's going to be like, okay, I get where she's coming from. Sometimes that's just not enough. And that then goes into, growing apart. And life will humble you. Life will definitely humble you. Life will definitely make you also just kind of realize how, things happen and people go through things that sometimes they're not ready to speak about. And, life situations can really change our friends, but I'm never not going to love them. I'm never going to not be there for them. I love my friends. I love those who love on me, but growing apart is a hard pill to swallow when you see the draft happening. And I think my last time being in Boston, I think I went home in June and there was so much going on in my personal life, just so much changes, so much things were just going on. And I just wanted to just be present and just be home and just be there. And as much as I would love to show up for just my friends, I just feel like I just needed to be alone. And some people may not like it. Some people may not understand it. But that is something that I needed. And I think personal growth can lead to drifting apart. And I think I've been saying this over and over, how like I'm not used to, like, if you can't be there, like if you cannot be there for yourself, like I don't know how you can be there for your friends. And I think adult relationships are hard because we are in our 20 somethings trying to navigate life and navigate new emotions and feelings that we never felt. And people, like, who I was 3 years ago is not who I am today. I've changed so much, and I've changed for the better. And I also got to tell myself, like, when I do see myself drifting apart from different friendships and different groups of people, that I have not met all the people that is meant to love me. I heard that at CultureCon when Dr. Joy was talking about friendship breakups and, just checking in on your friends. And I think it goes into like the emotional impact and how that, I'm very emotional. Well, I like to say emotionally aware, but I love, like, my friends are my sisters, my brothers, like, these are my people. And like, when I am growing apart from friendships, or like even like dealing with friendship breakups, I like think about like what happened, like where did it go wrong, like did I do something, like, because I don't ever have malicious intent. I mean, if someone feels like I do, then they haven't come to me and told me, Mariama, you maliciously are doing this. Like, no one has come and told me that, right? But I don't have malicious intent. Like, I try my best to be my best, even when I'm not feeling my best. I try my best to show up. And I think the feeling of loss, of growing apart from people you love, it's hard. It's hard. It's honestly worse than a breakup. I think breakups are like, woo, but like friendship breakups, like friendship, like growing apart and just not, like just losing someone like that is hard. And I've experienced that quite a lot 2024. But I think, like, for me, what's given me peace about those situations and losing, not even saying losing friends, but like growing apart from people and just understanding that everyone's in different seasons, and clearly this is not the season for us to be. I've come to an okay and an agreement that, it is what it is. And if God wants me and this said person to come back and rekindle and work on this friendship, then it will happen. But it's hard. It's hard. And trying to navigate the shift, I think communication is very key. I think when we talk about growing apart and friendships, and coming from someone who don't live where I grew up and like navigating a new space and trying to make friends here, communication is very key. And I think for me and like my new adult relationships, I think like the term saying like I'm busy or I'm busy, like I think that's an excuse. Like, I have come to this realization that I can no longer be like, oh, I'm busy, that's why I can't pick up or the phone, or why I can't show up. Like, I try my best not to say that anymore, because I think it's dismissive. I think it's rude to the other person. I'm not hearing the other person's opinion or how they're feeling, because I value friendships. I value if I'm making someone feel a type of way. I feel like keys on taking accountability is also validating the people that you love and their feelings. And I think for me, it's like one of those things where like communication is very important. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, I'm busy, because in all actuality, we can sit here and say we're busy, but we're on our phones, we're seeing things. And sometimes we are purposely doing things and we're purposely running away from uncomfortable conversations that sometimes we don't want to have. I've never been the type to sit on my feelings. Like, I feel like if someone's doing something to me in the moment or they're doing something I don't like, I will speak on it. But I also feel like it's very immature of me to be like, I'm busy and that's why I can't show up for my friend. Or if my friends feel like I'm not showing up for them and they're telling me that, I gotta hear them out and I gotta respect it, because communication's key. And I also feel like conflict makes relationships, friendships stronger. How are we going to grow as friends? How are we going to grow as sisters if we can't navigate these difficult conversations? We can't navigate these emotions that we're going through. And if we're unable to navigate that and we're drifting apart, I just think then so be it. I think it's best. No love lost, no beef, but we're going to leave it as it is, because I also feel like I'm not about to chase nobody either. I'm not about to chase people. I'm not about to overextend myself and spread myself thin because things are drifting apart and things are not making sense. We are grown, and if you feel like people are doing something to you that you don't like and they're hurting you, speak on it, because people don't know that they're hurting you unless you tell them that they're hurting you. And having difficult conversations and friendships, they're not easy, but they're needed. You know what I mean? Like, sisterly criticism is always needed. But growing apart is not, it's not fun. It's not. It's so hurtful. But I think at the end of the day, like, you have to find coping strategies on understanding that you're growing apart from people. But if you're not uncomfortable, then you're not growing. And sometimes not each person has a season of why they're in your life. And as much as we want our friends to stay forever, and I cherish the 10-year friendships, I cherish the people I recently meet, but sometimes there's no love lost. Sometimes you just gotta walk away from situations, and sometimes you may come back to the situation, you know what I mean? But I think navigating and dealing with friendship breakup is also just accepting it, and honestly take it as a time to self-reflect and how can you be a better friend, a better sister, a better cousin, because we all make mistakes. We are human. Like, that is what we do. Like, we do things that might piss people off, but we're human, and the beauty of life is trying again and giving one another grace. You know what I mean? If we can give these men grace, if God gives us grace for everything that we do on a day-to-day basis, we can give one another grace. And that has helped my mindset, and that's helped me navigate growing apart from people and navigating, difficult friendships and, friendship breakups, and just being an adult and trying to navigate this friend stuff. It's not easy, and it's not going to get easy, but I will say, you got to find what's best for you, and you got to get in where you fit in, because those who love you is going to stick around for you. I also want to talk about graceful goodbyes. Like, it is okay to gracefully tell somebody bye. Sometimes gracefully saying goodbye is fading back, Graceful goodbyes are so peaceful. I think, like, there don't gotta be no beef. We too old for that. We don't need to be beefing. We don't need to be beefing like high schoolers no more. Sometimes you need to just bow out. It's better to bow out in silence and then come back and rekindle, because you don't want to leave things messy where you can't even come back. So graceful goodbyes are always going to be my go-to. But if you are able to speak to your friend that you feel like you're growing apart from, or you feel like you guys are lost touched, like, check in on one another, because life be lifing and things be happening. And I think we need to take ourselves out of our shoes and really develop empathy. Empathy is not easy. Empathy is something that I think we as adults need more. We need empathy. We need empathy because empathy is you are going to be able to function as an adult. And when you have empathy, I think you get to see things from black and white. You get to be like, instead of having the mindset of, this person's just doing this because like, you get to take yourself out, think like, maybe I should check on this person as a being because this is not the person I know to be like this. We need more empathy. People lack empathy, and I think people lack a lot. I'm always going to say it, people lack accountability within friendships and not being able to really, just see what's going on with their friends. Sometimes it's just me, 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 me. People are so caught up in their own selfish needs and what they need from that person instead of trying to understand that people are growing. Like I said, I give my friends grace. I understand we are growing and we are changing and developing every day. And I'm loving on those who are loving on me. And I'm loving on those who are changing, evolving. Like, change is good, y'all. Especially when they're changing for the better. Like, yes, it's good. It's amazing. And sometimes growing apart is a part of that. You know what I mean? So it's not easy, though. I think it's hard because when you love somebody and when you are realizing like, damn, like I lost my friend, that's my girl. But I think what you can do is just pray. I always tell myself, give yourself 40 days to pray over that person and ask God to bring them back into your life. If the friendship's meant to be, it'll be. But I'm not about to stress myself over things that I have no control over. And I can only control what I got controlled. I can only control what I have handle over. And I can't control nothing that I am unable to see or sometimes even know. Because sometimes you don't even know what's going on. You be so lost in your world that you don't even be knowing what's going on or if people feel a type of way and this, that, and the third. So that's my spinoff about growing apart, how it could feel. It's not good, but it's life. It's life. You know what I mean? So we're going to go into the segment of Ask Yama, and I got 3 questions. So one of the questions is, how can you approach a friend and talk about why we're growing apart without making it awkward? I think it depends on the person. For me, I really think about the person and I think about how they accept feedback. I think about if the friendship is worth keeping. Sometimes the friendships are not worth keeping. And growing apart is for the better. So ask yourself, is this something worth chasing? Is this something worth keeping? And if it is, you just gotta come up and be like, I love you, but like something's off, something don't feel right. And have those difficult conversations. Difficult conversations are always amazing. I love conflict. I think conflict is amazing. Conflict really gets to show people skills. Conflict really shows if we're meant to be. If we can get over this conflict, then we can conquer it all because we're not perfect. So have that conversation if it's worth having. If not, if that friendship is worth leaving alone, by any things, bow out, safu. Question number 2 is it normal to feel guilty about moving on from a long-term friendship? Ooh. It really depends on the situation. I had to bow out of like childhood friendships that truly was no longer serving me. And I didn't feel guilty. I felt a sense of peace. So it really depends on what you're looking for and what your intentions. Like I said before, it really depends on what you value. And if it makes sense to stay, then stay. But if you feel guilty for bowing out, I think you need to do more self-reflection. You need to write more. You need to journal more. You need to pray more. You need to fast to figure out why are you feeling guilty about leaving a long-term relationship. Is it worth leaving? Is a conversation worth having? Like, why? Why do you feel like that? I think that is questions that you should ask yourself before making, those tough decisions. Because, once you make those decisions of leaving friendships, it's always hard to come back because you got to be okay with knowing that some people may not be receptive to you coming back. Some people may be like, no, you left, go. You know what I mean? So it really depends. If a long-term friendship has pained you so much that you no longer could be there and it's affecting your self-growth, your spiritual health, your mental health, then leave. You know what I mean? But you should never feel guilty for picking you. You should never feel guilty for choosing you. So hopefully that answers your question. The next question that I got are, what are some signs that a friendship is no longer healthy for me? I think for me, my telltale sign of a friendship no longer being healthy for me is like, I would say like the lack of accountability, when people aren't able to see where they went wrong as well. Instead of attacking you for your feelings and how people are, like how they may be making you feel. I think anytime you feel attacked, that's no longer healthy. I think another thing that's not healthy for me is like, I really don't like the saying when people be like, um, you know, like, oh, like make excuses for why they couldn't like show up or pick up or like be there, but like, I don't know, like avoiding conversations or like, constant like back and forth or bickering, or I wouldn't even say that. I would say like that secret animosity of like you're feeling away but you're not speaking up on how you feel. Like that's no longer healthy for me. I feel like anybody that calls me their friend, their sister, if you are able to have secret animosity and not speak up, like all jokes aside, if you consider to be my friend and you think I'm your sister, you are we are A1 day ones. We don't speak as often, but like, you need me, I'm there, and you feel like I'm doing something to hurt you and you cannot pick up the phone to tell me what I'm doing to hurt you, and I'm finding out from other people, or I'm finding out months later that you've had secret animosity, that's no longer healthy for me. I'm actually kind of scared because I would hope it's a safe space for people or my friends or people to feel comfortable enough to tell me that I'm doing something to them. That's no longer healthy for me. Each his own. Everyone has their own icks and their own flaws, but those right there is something that like it would do something to me. It would really make me go like, woo. So that is all for today of talking about growing apart and my little spinoff on friendship breakups. I didn't even talk about friendship breakups. That's like another episode within itself. But growing apart from people, it is okay for us to grow apart. Like, it is okay. We gonna find somebody. We gonna love on somebody. People are gonna find us, and we gonna find our people, and we gonna find our tribe at the end of the day. Cause sisterhood and brotherhood is important. I'm not gonna negate that. It's very important to find your tribe and your people. But it's also okay to grow apart and love people from a distance for yourself, for your well-being, for your mental health. So peace and blessings to you all. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you all for the next episode of Room 109. Mwah.